a way to provide a sense of safety in such uncertain conditions. It can also be a place where young people can interact with peers, with German-speaking peers, where they can make friendships and be in a different environment than the depressive environment of the reception centers. It can also be a place where their needs are met better than in such centers. So to keep them out of educational institutions is really it's very bad, and it's missing valuable time. Children have to learn, children have to be exposed to education, and already throughout their journeys they often missed months or years of education, and of course experienced horrific circumstances. So they should really be able to go to schools as soon as they arrive in a country. And apart from that, they are often subject to dangerous situations where their personal space, their personal safety is not guaranteed. And then, of course, the constant danger of deportations that is in these centers, and not only for themselves, but also to experience the fear of adults around them. This alone is traumatizing.
Yeah, I think it's because it's really scary, because in this space of 2 years that I lived in Azuhan, I see they smile, the kids smile, but deep inside of me I know that those smiles are not genuinely natural. So because most time they watch police step into the camp, beat their parents, beat up their father, pick up their father, separate their mother, separate them from their father. So I think it's, for us, the grown up, the adult, I think it's more lesser tourist still. They don't have toys, they are not exposed to, they are not, and it's quite unfortunate that all those things happens there. And also, which makes me sometimes ask question if different from the sound of the cry from kids outside the world. So it's really traumatizing, and but I keep on struggling to see that the world here, I know that only one man's voice will not change much, but with people seeing me struggling, I think I might gain more people to join the movement. And once people join the movement, maybe mostly for these kids, because yesterday, and I was going through the Aka Centrum, the Kazu camp, I saw Ghanaians, women, Senegals. They were like convoy. They were more than 20. I think they just arrived new. Each of them have a kinderwagen. There is a newborn baby in this kinderwagen. And when I got to the gate of I saw all of them. They still went to the block 1. I didn't share tears, but internally I was like shedding tears, because what those kids are facing, they are not living inside the world. There is one of my poem I titled "World Behind the World." Is where people are living in there, because those kids are innocent kids. I was not crying for their parents. I was only crying for them, that knowing that this kid will grow up inside this asylum house. Being a Ghanaian, being a Senegal, their stay in this Germany is not guaranteed. They will come and be deported, forcefully deported, and this kid will go back there and live a trauma life. And one day, and now I will understand, one day will come, those that have crossed 8 years, 7 years, who have known the difference between Europe and Africa, their mind will always reflect or there was a time we were in this place, the life there was better than here. So this will traumatize them, and I don't know how this voice from this program will be able to draw more people attention so that we can be able to, to build up a voice, if not for us, the adults, for the kids to grow in a conducive environment and, live like any other kids.
Yeah, I think for these very young children that you mentioned, the major thing is not the place where they are staying. The baby doesn't care where he or she is. For a baby, it is important that it's in the arms of his mother or in his father, that it's safe and protected when she influences us throughout life. And even me, only now I'm becoming to realize that I have some form of trauma that I carry with me from my childhood. All of our parents, they tried to do their best as we were growing up, but many things they were not aware of. And even my generation carries trauma from the war in Germany, behavior patterns that our parents had because of the war that influenced us in a way. Now imagine parents living in these asylum homes. This is very far from conscious parenting. It's a very we spoke about safety earlier. There's hardly any sense of safety that they can offer their children. So it is very sad to think about the future, the emotional condition of these children later on in life.
So sad. I'm still trying to understand, but maybe with time I will understand. So the last question is, you have witnessed a lot of refugees, many, both women with kids, single ladies, married, boyfriend and girlfriend. You have witnessed a lot of them. You have looked into their cases. You have seen those who have opportunity, but based on their country of origin, they couldn't grab the opportunity. So I will love to ask you, what burden, because you are not a stick, you are a human. If you don't have that kind of that humanity, I don't think you engage yourself in trying to help the refugees and help the less privileged. So you helping those people, and still many got deported, many managed to, to sneak into the system. What burden or hope do you carry after years of witnessing these stories? And if those young refugees could hear you right now, what would you want to say to them?
Oh, my hope and my wish, temporary work. It's not only permanent migration that people hope for. Some people just want to gather some experiences in a different country. They just want to see how it is. With our institute, with Parafina, we organize youth exchanges where we have groups of young people from different African countries come to Germany for some weeks. They just see how the country is. They go back to their countries and they return with a completely different mindset, because there are so many stereotypes also about Europe which have to be overcome, but they can only be overcome if people have an opportunity to come and see for themselves.
Yes.
And also opportunities for legal migration for those who want to come on the longer term. Germany needs
workers,
people. So politicians may argue that there are already legal pathways, but they are not enough and they are not accessible enough. And we know cases where people could not even manage to make an appointment for a visa application. People have to wait for over 1 year just to be allocated an appointment with the German embassy. And the procedures are often so complicated and so intransparent and changing so frequently that many people don't see any other choice than to engage agencies that often take large amounts of money from people and still don't guarantee the visa. Then the conditions are often so unrealistic in terms of financial means that people have to prove to come, or educational certificates that they have to prove and get recognition for, which is also still a very complex procedure. So we need to really work on these legal pathways so that irregular migration can be reduced. But we also have to be aware that as long as borders exist, as long as entry conditions for countries exist, people will also come through irregular pathways. But for those people, we have to guarantee human treatment. We don't need to have any pushbacks. We have to make sure that those people who choose to come through the sea are being rescued. Rescue missions don't have to be stopped from their activities. They have to be supported, and then of course when they arrive, people have to be provided with opportunities. It doesn't make any sense to spend large amounts of money to deport people while we are in need of workers, but we don't give people the work permit who are already here. So all these things have to be worked on, and this is my hope. And for those who are already here, I just encourage them to don't lose hope, to believe in themselves, to believe in their strengths, and to have faith that they will make it here and there's a good future for them.
I believe we wish to have a better future for them, and to have, like we said about the security, that time will come where those things will come to, where nobody will, will be subjected to nothing just because of having a refugee background and so many other things. So before we proceed to ask, so before the last question and before we proceed to the last, showing and interpreting the photos that you see on the wall, then this side is from the photo voice, here is culture of refugees, and here is all my struggle, all my engagement, not all my engagement, but half of my engagement since I arrived in Germany, from Italy, Germany, and so on. So I will take this last question, then we will look into the pictures and have a moment of silence, and also have a thought and a reflection of so many of the pictures. So my last question is, what do you wish the broader Germans public to understand about the children and the youth?
Those with refugee backgrounds. Yeah, I wish that they would really see them as humans. So many times we just speak about statistics, about numbers, and we forget that all these people are humans, just like you and me. I wish that they would understand the personal stories, the personal background, and not just see them as refugees, but as the people who come with cultures, with experience, with skills, with potentials, to see the people behind the numbers.
That is so interesting to hear from you, and I think this is where not only being educated in the field of your study, I think your the level of your travel and the person as a traveler that have went beyond several countries, I think that also reflects in your way of thinking and also your way of seeing people, and because there are many Germans who have not even traveled from Bamberg to Frankfurt, so they don't know